Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today I'm on a new walk. I'm in a new rental house. I'm in a new location, and I want to bring you some thoughts about judgment and criticism and resistance today, and how this may be contributing to your chronic illness. And so I want to talk about this. I had a really busy day. My husband was at work, working full-time hours. My dad was having a lot of dizzy spells. My children were, being children, needing things. So, of course, you're being a full-time mom, caregiver, cooking, cleaning, and I moved our entire house from one location to another location, and between packing and storing and onto trucks and helping people help me move furniture and different things like this. And it was the most draining, exhausting day, literal, in my life, because I was doing it all on my own. Right? I was doing it all on my own, and the pressure and the feelings in my body were sloshing around, and it was hard to contain them. By the end of the day, somebody would say one word to me and I would either just explode or weep, because the day was so filled with intense pressure, right? Intense, like I was in a pressure cooker. I was basically running all day to get this done. Nobody could help. My husband couldn't because he was working. My father couldn't because he had to, rest and take care of himself. My children couldn't. But not only could they not help, but they all needed something from me. So I was giving, I was doing everything. And it was very easy by the end of the day to feel like a victim, right? I mean, I chose to do this, but it was like I felt like a victim. I felt the responsibility, maybe for the first time in my life, that I was the one. Everything was solely resting on me. For my life, I've had parents, and my mother's been passed away for 10 years now. But I was an only child, so I was taken care of. I was used to being taken care of, provided for, helped, soothed, coddled along in this lifetime. And even when my father, before he had the surgery, he would help, and my husband was always there and is always there, but right now he's so busy at work. But to be the only one coordinating this entire move for our family made me feel like I was responsible for it all going right and everything and everyone. And there was no one there. I looked around, there was no one there to help me or to support me or to take care of me. And I was the one, suddenly the matriarch of the family, really, who was meant to make this all happen, make it magical for everybody. And in all these messes of boxes and this and that and the other, find their iPhone or find their pencil or make them snacks and bring them this and right. And so I was it was a very intense feeling that I was suddenly the one in this lifetime now that's looking after everyone else, which was an odd sensation in and of itself. But I just felt this immense pressure, and I felt sad and sorry for myself. Like, nobody cares what I'm doing. Everyone expects these things of me. And when I came into the house and I put these dog bowls down, this is just one example. I put these dog bowls down in the kitchen for my dogs. Video cut out. So I put these dog bowls down in the kitchen so my dogs could, I was taking care of them. I was making sure that they could have a drink. And we have these really shallow bowls that are meant for food and deeper ones meant for water, but I reversed them, right? So I reversed them and I put water in the shallow one. This was nearing the end of the day into the new house. My father came into the house, he took one look at it and he said, "Well, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The water's gonna spill everywhere. Why didn't you put it in the other dish?" And I just, like, all the emotion that I had been suppressing all day just bubbled over. I'm like, are you kidding me? I have just done everything. You're gonna criticize and judge this one thing. And I realized right then and there that he didn't mean anything of it. And he wasn't, like, he was actually proud of me and happy with what I was doing. But that one little comment made me realize that I try so hard all the time because I want to avoid judgment and criticism for people. And I try to make it perfect all the time so that I don't hear those comments, right? So that I wouldn't hear that comment from him. So in advance, you would try to do these things in advance of that happening. Morning, hi. Okay, so that doesn't happen because look at the cute little dog up here. Anyways, we're so afraid of this judgment and criticism that we get from other people. So we run around trying to please them, trying to be perfect for them so that we get praise and validation and love and acceptance, and that people turn to you at the end of the day and say, thank you. I know that was hard. Thank you for doing all that for me. I recognize you, right? We want to feel recognized and validated and accepted and loved and appreciated. But when we do all this and we're trying so hard to get it right so that we can feel that, that's really why we're doing that at the core, so that we can feel that, right? We're putting ourselves through madness so that we can feel that, right? I was getting snacks and doing the kids and doing the moving and the people and the coordinating and the boxes, and I was like buried. But yet I was still trying hard to make it perfect and get it right and get it done and please people because I wanted them to recognize, and deep down I wanted to feel that appreciation, love, respect, validation, admiration, whatever it is. I just wanted to feel that acceptance. And when you get criticized by the very people that you're doing this for, later on that night, my husband said something too, that it was, I don't even remember what it was about now, and I just started to weep. And I'm like, nobody cares that I just spent all day doing this, and I feel way past my limit. I feel spent. I need to go to bed and I need help right now. I need you to bring me my tea and just let me sit on the couch and be kinder than you're being, be softer than you're being. He didn't do anything wrong, but he was just, there was an edge to his voice, and it just crumbled me, right? Because it was already at the end of a long day, and I did it for a subconscious reason, a subconscious need to feel this love and acceptance and validation and to make people feel proud of me, so I could feel this inner, like it was worth it, this sense of acceptance, and it was worth it, and I did a good job, and I'm approved of, right? But instead, I got like a negative comment, I got an edgy, harsh voice, I got these things, and it just decimated me on an emotional level, and I fell apart at the end of the day. And I realized it's because, you know, we don't want to feel the shame and the criticism and the being disapproved of or cut off from. We want the opposite of that. And so it's very easy for us to, without even realizing it, live our lives so that we don't feel that way. Live our lives to please other people so that we can feel something back. It's almost like we're giving so that we can get. But it's not conscious. It's very subconscious. It's very subtle. It's very hard to even pinpoint. But this is what's happening. We're giving so that we can get, not necessarily get things back. I don't want people to do things for me, but get appreciation, get love, get value, get approval, right? These little subtle things that we want to receive, that we need. They're needs of ours. We need love and we need approval. We need to feel connection to those around us. And so we live our life so that we may feel this way. So these are the things that we pre-do. And we don't even realize how we set our lives up to really damage ourselves and to become in chronic pain or in chronic illness or chronic fatigue or chronic symptoms or get cancer or neurodegenerative disease. We've set ourselves up that way, and we don't realize that we've done it to ourselves because it's very hard to recognize. We think we're good people, we give, we're active, we do a lot. We don't see the connection that all this giving and all this people pleasing and all this being all for everyone is actually, it's not that it's too much for us, but it's too much for us when we don't receive what we thought we would receive on the other end. And we can't control the other people, and we can't control the receiving. So we put more control into the giving more and more, because we can't control or force people to give. So we keep giving so that we may get, but we can't control the other end. So we don't see the connection. We're like, we're healthy, we're eating healthy, we're active, we're going to bed on the right time, we're doing all the things that would create health, yet we have cancer, or we have an autoimmune disease, or we have chronic fatigue syndrome, or we have extreme pain. And it's because we're so good, and we're trying so hard, and we're subconsciously so unaware that the hurt comes from giving more than we are receiving. From giving more than we are receiving. From feeling like we're giving more than we are receiving. Because some people can say, like my husband and my dad and my kids would say, well, we give so much to you, and they could list off the examples, but it's in the feeling. I don't feel that I get as much as I give. It's in that feeling. And when you're in that feeling, isn't a lie. The feeling is the truth. So whether your perception, like whether the feeling, the perception isn't even accurate, it doesn't matter. Like if my husband gives in other ways to me, like I worked hard, I provide for the family, I'm having the financial resources so that you can do this. I, rub your feet at night. I do this. I do that. Look at all the things I do. Like he could rattle them off. But if I don't feel in that moment like it's reciprocal or like it's equal, like I'm giving and getting, then I'm out of balance. And when you're out of balance internally, that's when illness happens. That's when chronic illness happens. That's when it falls apart. So it's in this feeling state. So this has been a long video, but I just want to continue and make one more point here. So we're afraid of judgment and criticism for others. So we give and give and give so that we may receive, even though it's subconscious and we don't know it. But when we don't receive as much as we feel, our interpretation of what we get, we feel drained, exhausted, tired, and taken advantage of. And this is where the out of balance comes from. But our fear of being cut off or unappreciated or criticized or judged or abandoned is too much. So we continue to give. We continue to do that regardless, because the fear of that is worse than feeling sick or in pain or run down or taken advantage of or whatever like that. It's better to feel that than to be cut off or to be unacknowledged, right? Because that's too hurtful and too painful, and we can't see that. It's a very subconscious thing. But I would also say that other people feel this exact same way, and we're so consumed by our own being that we don't recognize that. So my husband and my father might be feeling completely other emotions. Like my dad might think to himself, I just went through surgery, I'm doing this big move, you're upset with me, or you're like, he might have this other feeling, or my husband might feel this other, and they're giving in their own ways to receive. And if they don't receive in the way that they wanted to, in the way that matters to them, then their needs don't feel met either. And they're also afraid of judgment and criticism and being cut off and not being understood or validated or loved, right? So a lot of times people try to get people to see things their own way, right? Like, I want everybody to see the move my way, to pitch in, to do this my way, I want everything to go. I have a plan and a vision, but when people aren't feeling the same way that I feel, I judge and criticize them, right? I say, well, how can you not see it this way? Or it's when we argue and we have differences of opinion, the other people are also feeling judged and criticized and not loved. And this is where these strong emotions spill over, like if they lose it or they get upset or their feathers feel ruffled. You can bet it's because they are also feeling this way, right? They are also feeling this inner war, this inner problem, this inner distrust or feeling cut off, feeling unloved, feeling unvalidated, unrespected, unappreciated, all those same things that you're feeling. And so, I don't know where I am. Sorry, I'm getting confused in the video. I'm looking around, I'm thinking, where the heck am I now? My trail has ended and I'm in this sort of people's backyards, of sandy backyards. Anyways, I'm gonna turn back to the road. So what I mean is to be kind. Treat others the way, meet their bottom line needs, which is to love them, to respect them, to notice what they're doing for you, to be kind to them, to show them respect and love and validation and appreciation, because that's ultimately what every human being wants to feel. That's what you want to feel. So, because that's what you want to feel, that's what you need to give. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. So there's so much judgment and criticism going on from both ends all the time. People are always judging and criticizing and comparing and, talking about and assessing what they think is wrong with the other person. Or there's just so much judgment on, well, I wouldn't do it that way, or I should do it that way, or you should, or you shouldn't. There's always this subconscious judging, comparing, criticizing of yourself and others. But the true motivation is that everyone wants to feel on both sides loved, validated, accepted, approved of, right? Appreciated, all of these things. And so that's the bottom line. That's what drives us all to live inauthentically, to push ourselves and to people please. We're all people pleasing. We're all walking around people pleasing and trying to get others to like us and validated us. And we're wearing masks and we're pushing ourselves and we're doing things that we don't want to, and we're not living in our true authentic identities, all of us. So like, I'm doing that, my kids are doing that, my husband's doing that, my dad's doing that, and we're all doing that in different ways, and we're all feeling the burden of giving and giving and giving and not receiving what we need. But if we can only give to ourselves what we need and stop living in accordance to needing this outside approval and appreciation from others, then we could avoid the whole song and dance. You see, but we're so afraid of being cut off or abandoned or judged or criticized that we really live our lives in a way that's so incongruent with how we truly feel. I mean, I pushed myself so hard during that move, and I didn't even know why, but when I didn't feel or get what I needed at the end of the day, I just crumbled. And that was a big thing, so it was very noticeable, and I could see it clearly. But on a subtle level, we're doing this every day. We're subtly living our lives like this, all of us are, in order to just feel connection with others and feel like getting these needs met of ours that are very primal, right? To feel love and accepted, and And so we all have to stop judging each other and criticizing each other, and you do it too, and I do it too. And I'm very critical, like, well, how can you just sit there and think this or say this? And we have to be more open to biting our tongues and letting people live the way they want to live, letting them be messy or dirty or think thoughts that aren't the same as yours, and not have to try so hard to convince them or to bulldoze them into thinking something, or to steamroll them, or to argue your way into it. We just have to feel our own feelings, allow people to be who they are, and feel the chaos that creates inside ourselves, and just bite our criticism and our judgment back and allow. And the reason we can't is because all these feelings come up. If they're not the same as me, maybe we're not meant to be. We're not in tune. We don't belong together. It's not going to work, right? But it will work. It can work. And we can all be ourselves, and the criticism and judgment will fall away. And we can just meet our own needs. So